All right, let's talk about the biggest shift in Pega's UI in, well, over a decade, Constellation. Now, if you're working on the Pega platform, you've definitely heard the name buzzing around. But here's the thing. This is not just some new feature set, no. This is a complete reinvention of how we build user experiences. And honestly, understanding it is about to become absolutely critical for your career. So I've got to ask you a direct question. Are the applications you're building right now, and more importantly, the skills you're relying on every day, are they actually ready for what's just around the corner? Because trust me, the ground is shifting under our feet, and it's time we all make sure we're standing on solid ground. For years, we've all gotten into a comfortable rhythm building Pega UIs. But that era, it's officially coming to a close. And this isn't just about rolling out new tech for the sake of it. This is being driven by some really powerful business demands that, frankly, the old way just can't keep up with anymore. This slide just nails the entire shift. Over on the left, you've got the world we all know, those big, tightly coupled sections and harnesses. And on the right, you see the future, a super modular, flexible system of views and portals. That right there is the fundamental change. We're moving away from a single complex structure to a much more nimble component-based way of thinking. So why the huge change? It really boils down to four key things businesses are demanding. First, speed. They need UI delivered in weeks, not months. Second, accessibility. It has to be baked in from the start, not bolted on at the end. Third, consistency. Users expect the same great experience whether they're on a laptop or a phone. And finally, cost. Maintaining that old legacy UI is getting really expensive. Constellation was literally built to solve these exact problems. For any new projects, Constellation isn't just an option, it's a standard. Every single new Pega implementation is being built as Constellation first. This means that getting your head around it isn't a choice anymore. It's an inevitability. Okay, so we've talked about the why. Now let's get into the how. I know at first glance a new architecture can seem a little intimidating, but once you grasp the core principles, you're going to realize it's actually way more logical and streamlined than the old way of doing things. The heart of this new world is something called view-based authoring. So you can forget about spending hours wrestling with those super complex section and harness rules back in Dev Studio. Now the main work happens right in App Studio, where you're configuring views. You get to focus on the business logic and let the system itself handle all the heavy lifting of rendering the UI. You know, the real beauty of this new model is this clean separation of concerns. Up at the top, you've got your case logic. That's your business process. In the middle, you have UI orchestration, which is basically deciding what to show and when. And then at the bottom, the presentation layer actually draws the UI on the screen. This separation is the absolute key to building apps that are just plain easier to develop, to scale, and to maintain. So how does it all connect? It's a really clean four-step flow. It all starts with your business logic and the case type. That logic then informs a view that you've configured in App Studio. From there, all that information or metadata gets passed through the DX API. Think of it like a contract between the backend and the frontend. And the final result is the runtime UI your user actually sees and interacts with. It's a beautiful metadata-driven process that takes you from pure logic to pixels on a screen. Okay, I have to address this because it's a common fear I hear all the time. The idea that Constellation is some kind of black box, that it's too restrictive and you can't build custom experiences. Let's just put that myth to rest right here, right now. I want you to meet the Constellation DX component. This is your brand new toolkit for extending the UI. Now, if you're thinking about custom controls from the old world, yeah, you're on the right track, but DX components are way more powerful and modern. They are totally reusable, purpose-built UI elements that plug perfectly into the Constellation design system. So how do you even start building one of these? It literally begins with a simple command in a standard development environment. npm run create. This is your front door. You're using modern, familiar front-end tools to instantly set up a new component. It's fast, it's efficient, and it feels immediately comfortable for anyone who's done any kind of web development. And here is the payoff. That simple command leads to this, a polished, fully integrated UI. See those edit links next to each section in this form? That's actually a custom layout template built with a DX component. And it looks completely native, right? That's because it integrates seamlessly with the case architecture. This is the power of extending the system. But customization isn't just about how things work. It's also about how they look. For branding, Constellation uses a powerful system built on what are called design tokens. All that really means is you can define your main brand color in one central place, and that change will instantly and consistently ripple out across your entire application. And yeah, that includes all your custom components. So we've covered the what, the why, and the how. Now, let's get to the most important part. What does all of this mean for you and for your career? Because this is about your market value and your next big project. Let's tackle those big fears around modernization head on. The first myth is that you have to rewrite everything from scratch. The reality, Pega actually supports incremental migration and even a blended UI where the old and new can live together. The second myth is that custom UI is impossible. Well, as we just saw, DX components give you incredibly powerful ways to extend the system. And the third myth is that it's too restrictive. The truth is, it frees you up to focus on the high-value business logic instead of constantly reinventing the UI wheel. This is such a critical point. Moving to Constellation isn't just a technical puzzle, it's a strategic one. Success or failure so often comes down to knowing the right approach. How to plan it, what to migrate first, and how to use the tools that Pega gives you. And just look at who needs these skills. This isn't some niche thing for front-end specialists. We're talking core Pega developers, system architects, UI engineers, and tech leads. Pretty much everyone on the team needs to be fluent in Constellation to build effectively and to lead projects to success. If there's one thing to take away about urgency, it's this. We're looking at a very near future, like 6 to 12 months out, where Constellation skills are no longer a nice to have on a resume. They're going to be a baseline requirement for any serious Pega professional. The window to get ahead of this curve is right now. So I'll end right where we started with one simple question. The Pega platform is making its biggest leap forward in a decade. The only question left is, are you going to be making that leap with it?